Around 83% or 5 out of 6 children will have had at least one ear infection by their third birthday. And according to a large retrospective cohort study that covered over 2.1 million middle ear infection episodes from 2005 to 2019, over 77% of those episodes were treated with antibiotics within 3 days of diagnosis. That same study also noted that the adoption of watchful waiting, which is pretty much not prescribing antibiotics immediately for uncomplicated episodes, was limited and stagnant across the study period. The recent review observes that although many cases of these ear infections resolve without antibiotics, antibiotics still continue to be prescribed in a large majority of these cases. Importantly, a 2021 data analysis of US children under the age of 5 found that by the age of 5, over 93% of these children have already had at least one antibiotic prescription. And if these stats haven't opened your eyes yet to how often antibiotics are being prescribed to our children here, it should. I want to start off by telling you about Olivia. Within the course of a couple months, she had 4 different ear infections. And at this rate, the pediatrician was starting to communicate to her parents about tubes being the next best route for her. Well, as with many parents, this did not sit well. And as they started to explore other options outside of what they'd already tried, like all of the homeopathic stuff and remedies, they brought Olivia in for care and has been ear infection free ever since. Look, your child's immune system, nervous system, and hormonal system aren't 3 separate systems working independently. They function as an integrated unit, what researchers call the neuroendocrine immune supersystem. Think of it like a 3 legged stool. If one becomes wobbly, the thing ends up tipping over, correct? You can't stabilize it by only focusing on the legs that look fine. The nervous system serves as the master controller, the air traffic controller, coordinating all the other systems. It regulates immune responses, so it's going to determine whether or not the inflammation should be turned on or off, and it decides if your child mounts an appropriate defense or an excessive one. When the nervous system is stuck in stress mode, immune function becomes chaotic. Some kids become immune suppressed and catch everything, while others they become hyperreactive with severe allergies. But many, they're swinging between these both extremes. And this explains why your child stays sick while other kids in the same environment are healthy. And the difference isn't immune system strength, it's whether their nervous system can properly regulate their immune system. There's one nerve that controls most of your child's immune regulation, and most parents have never even heard of it. It's called the vagus nerve, and it's the longest nerve in your child's body, running from the brainstem all the way down through the neck, past the heart and lungs, all the way to the digestive system, where 70 to 80% of the immune system lives. This nerve acts as your child's inflammation off switch. When it's working properly, it detects inflammation, it evaluates the threat, it releases calming signals, and then turns the immune response off once the job is done. Your child recovers and returns to baseline health. But when the vagus nerve isn't functioning properly, kids get stuck. The fire alarm, it keeps blaring even after the fire is out. Chronic inflammation becomes their baseline instead of the exception. So think of it like a car with 2 pedals. The sympathetic nervous system is the gas pedal. It activates fight or flight and it ramps up inflammation. The parasympathetic nervous system is controlled by the vagus nerve, and that's going to be your brake pedal. It's going to calm everything down and allows recovery. Many kids today are stuck with the gas pedal pressed to the floor and a brake pedal that barely works. And these are the kids who can't kick the sick. Here's what most parents don't realize: the vagus nerve exits the skull through the upper neck, right where birth trauma tends to occur. And during birth, especially with interventions like C-sections, forceps, and vacuum extractions, or even Pitocin induction, the delicate upper cervical spine experiences forces it wasn't designed to handle. This physical trauma creates what we call subluxation, which is a combination of misalignment and neurological interference in the upper cervical spine. It disrupts the vagus nerve's ability to communicate properly between the brain and the body. Our goal is to restore that brain body communication. Listen, I'm a mom of 2. I have 2 boys, their ages 3 and 16 months, and have not had one infection, no ear infection, no sinus infection, and definitely no antibiotics. So if you're wondering if what I'm saying has anything to back it up, besides the research that is already out there, I've lived it also. I also see so many kids in our office today who are struggling with recurrent ear infections, and after starting care, most of them have never had another one. With Insight neurological scans, we're actually able to test, detect, and target the area of subluxation just like we did with Olivia and so many others. If your child keeps getting sick and every round of antibiotics just leads to another one, let's break the cycle. More meds aren't turning the cycle around. Better regulation of the nervous system does. So if you're ready for a deeper approach, then they'll grow out of it. We're here to help.